everyone, welcome back to History United. I'm Caroline, and I'm excited to learn more about China. Today we're diving into some big events in China during the 1900s.
Hi all, I'm Amy. As we continue learning about the events in Billy Joel's song, We Didn't Start the Fire, today we are exploring what he called Red China. As you think about today's story, also think about how words are used and remember that words matter in describing other countries and their history.
Hey kids, I'm Andrew, and I think this episode is going to be really deep.
And I'm Dave. There's a lot to learn. We'll explore how China changed a lot with some really big plans.
In 1949, a new government was formed in China, led by Mao Zedong. They wanted to make big changes.
First, there was something called the First Five-Year Plan. It started in 1953. The government wanted to make more products like steel and coal to build up China's industry.
They built lots of factories and really focused on growing industries. They thought this would help everyone in China have a better life by making the country stronger.
Then came the Great Leap Forward in 1958. This plan was to speed up farming and industry even more. Mao wanted everyone to help out, from the cities to the countryside.
They tried to make farms work together in big groups instead of each family having their own. They thought it would make more food for everyone.
And even teachers and doctors went to help in the fields to grow fruit and build water projects.
But these plans didn't work out as hoped. The Great Leap Forward actually led to a lot of problems. The farms didn't produce enough food, and there was a terrible famine, where many people didn't have enough to eat and suffered in many ways.
The government made everyone follow their new plans, even if they didn't want to or if it wasn't working. They didn't really have a choice. This meant that people were forced to do things the government's way, even if they knew it might not work. If someone tried to do things differently, they could get in big trouble.
So instead of working together and figuring out the best way, everyone had to do exactly what they were told, no matter what.
And that made it really hard for them to succeed, right?
Yes, Caroline. Because people weren't free to make their own decisions or solve problems their own way, it caused many issues and didn't make things better as they had hoped.
It's important to learn from this so we can understand why allowing people to share their ideas and work together freely is so important. It was a challenging time, but the resilience of the Chinese people during these hardships is a testament to their strength and spirit.
Even with good intentions, big changes can have unexpected results.
And that's why it's important to learn from history and understand everybody's experience can be different.
Using terms like Red China oversimplifies all these complex events and changes. It doesn't tell the full story of what people went through.
So we should use kind and thoughtful words to show respect and understanding for the history of other countries.
And another important part of history is the Cultural Revolution that started in 1966. It was meant to strengthen communism in China, but led to a lot of chaos.
During the Cultural Revolution, many young people, called Red Guards, were encouraged to challenge the old ways and traditions. They were told to get rid of anything that was seen as old-fashioned or not fitting the new ideas.
This means they tried to change how people thought, what they believed in, and even how they lived their daily lives. Schools were closed, and many people, especially teachers and intellectuals, were targeted and punished.
The government told people that there were class enemies, which means people who were thought to be against the new ideas and changes. These class enemies were often treated very badly.
Wait, what are class enemies?
Class enemies were people who the government said were not supporting the new changes. They might have been business owners, teachers, or anyone who had ideas that were different from what the government wanted. The government said that these people were bad and needed to be stopped.
Many of these people were punished, and their lives were made very difficult, even if they didn't do anything wrong. They were often treated unfairly because they were seen as enemies.
This caused a lot of fear and sadness, because people were afraid they might be accused of being a class enemy if they didn't follow the new rules exactly.
That sounds really hard and unfair.
It was very hard and very unfair. Many people suffered during this time, and it took a long time for the country to heal and move forward.
But it's important to learn about this so we can understand how powerful ideas and actions can be, and why it's so important to treat everyone with kindness and fairness.
By the late 1970s, China began to open up to the world again. New leaders introduced economic reforms that helped China grow and modernize.
That means that they tried new ways to make the country better, right?
Yes, exactly. They introduced policies to allow more private businesses and encouraged foreign investments, which helped China's economy to grow rapidly.
These changes helped lift many people out of poverty and transform China into a global economic power.
It is important to remember that history is made up of many stories and perspectives. Learning about them helps us understand the world better.
And we can also see how big changes can be really hard to lead to new opportunities.
So true, Caroline. It's essential to learn about history from different angles to appreciate the full picture.
And that's why we use kind and thoughtful words to show respect and understanding for other countries' histories.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Great Leap Forward. One of these ideas was to build small furnaces in people's backyards to make steel. But many of these furnaces didn't work well and wasted resources.
So they tried really hard, but it didn't go as planned.
Exactly. People did their best, but the methods weren't effective. It's a reminder that sometimes good ideas need better planning.
And during the Cultural Revolution, there were many changes. People were encouraged to get rid of old customs, habits, and ideas. It was a time of big upheaval.
Many historical artifacts and books were destroyed, and people who were seen as not supportive of the new ideas were punished. It was a very difficult time for people.
That sounds really hard. Did things get better after that?
Yes, things did start to improve. By the late 1970s, new leaders in China began to make changes that opened up the country. They did want to make life better for everyone by improving the economy.
One of the leaders, Deng Xiaoping, introduced reforms that allowed more private businesses and encouraged foreign companies to invest in China. This helped the economy grow very quickly.
These changes helped lift many people out of poverty and modernized the country. Today, China is one of the largest economies in the world.
So even though they faced big problems, they found a way to grow and improve.
Yes, it's a great example of how a country can learn from its past and work toward a better future.
And it's important to remember that history is full of lessons. We can learn a lot from studying what worked and what didn't.
Understanding history helps us appreciate different cultures and the challenges they've overcome.
And it teaches us to be kind and thoughtful how we talk about other places.
Absolutely. Using respectful language helps us understand and appreciate the full story of other countries.
And that's why we always try to learn more and think deeply about history. It's not just about remembering dates and events, but understanding the people and their experiences.
The story of China in the 1900s shows us how complex history can be. There were big challenges and big successes.
And it really helps us see why it's important to learn about different parts of the world.
Stay curious, keep exploring, and always think about how we talk about history.
Okay, time for a silly question. What kind of shoes do historians wear?
What?
Sneakers, because they're always walking through history. Get it? Okay, bye, friends. See you next time.